The lights dimmed, and a storm began to brew inside the ring. Two men stood across from each other, both legends, both warriors, both carrying the pride of their nations. On one side, the cold, calculated genius of Lennox Lewis, the towering British champion with a steel jab and icy eyes that had broken men long before the first punch was thrown. On the other, the fearless Ray Mercer, an American powerhouse, built like granite, known for walking through fire just to land one shot of his own. The crowd roared as the bell rang. Round 1. No feeling out, no hesitation. Mercer charged in like a bull. His right hand exploded, missing Lewis by inches. The air cracked. Lewis backed off, calm and collected, his jab flicking out like lightning. Pop, pop, each one precise, each one a message. But Mercer wasn't reading. He was hunting. Lewis circled, staying behind his reach, his every movement mechanical, like a predator planning 3 moves ahead. But Mercer was chaos. He threw with bad intentions, his gloves crashing against Lewis's guard like thunder on metal. The arena echoed with gasps as Mercer landed a left hook. Flush. Lewis stumbled slightly. It wasn't a knockdown, but the message was clear. You can be hurt. Lewis's eyes narrowed. He returned fire, 2 jabs, a straight right that sliced through the air, landing clean. Mercer's head snapped back, and yet he smiled. A chilling grin that told everyone this was only the beginning. The tension was thick enough to cut with a blade. Both men stood at center ring, trading leather, neither stepping back. Sweat flew, gloves cracked, and the sound of impact was pure violence. By the end of the round, both men glared at each other like wolves locked in a cage. Neither had won, neither had lost. But everyone in the arena knew this wasn't going to be a fight. It was going to be a war. As the bell ended the first round, the commentators whispered, "Lewis is facing something different tonight. Mercer isn't afraid. He's here to destroy the myth." And deep down, even Lennox Lewis felt it. The storm had only begun. As round 2 began, the air inside the arena changed. The cheers turned into nervous murmurs. Something felt off. Lennox Lewis, usually calm and untouchable, was suddenly being pushed backward, and the man forcing him there was Ray Mercer. Mercer came out like a man possessed. His gloves were hammers, his eyes burning with something primal. He slipped Lewis's jab and fired a monstrous overhand right. Boom! The shot connected cleanly. Lewis stumbled back, shocked. The crowd erupted into chaos. "Mercer's hurting him," shouted the commentator. Lewis tried to regain control, sticking his jab. Neither had lost. But everyone in the arena knew this wasn't going to be a fight. It was going to be a war. As the bell ended the first round, the commentators whispered, "Lewis is facing something different tonight. Mercer isn't afraid. He's here to destroy the myth." And deep down, even Lennox Lewis felt it. The storm had only begun. As round 2 began, the air inside the arena changed. The cheers turned into nervous murmurs. Something felt off. Lennox Lewis, usually calm and untouchable, was suddenly being pushed backward, and the man forcing him there was Ray Mercer. Mercer came out like a man possessed. His gloves were hammers, his eyes burning with something primal. He slipped Lewis's jab and fired a monstrous overhand right. Boom. The shot connected cleanly. Lewis stumbled back, shocked. The crowd erupted into chaos. "Mercer's hurting him," shouted the commentator. Lewis tried to regain control, sticking his jab. But Mercer was relentless. The referee watched closely, but Lewis refused to go down. He fought back, using his height and reach, throwing crisp jabs, trying to create distance. But Mercer's pressure was unstoppable. Every time Lewis landed 2 shots, Mercer returned 5. The crowd was losing its mind. They were witnessing something no one expected. Ray Mercer, the underdog, breaking through Lennox Lewis's armor. As the bell rang, Lewis walked back to his corner, breathing heavy, face marked, eyes focused but shaken. His coach shouted, "Use your jab, Lennox. Don't brawl with him." Across the ring, Mercer didn't sit. He stood, pacing, staring at Lewis, like a lion waiting for the cage to open again. Round 3 was coming, and everyone knew someone was about to fall. The bell for round 3 echoed like a warning. Both corners shouted advice, but neither fighter listened. This was no longer a boxing match. It was a battle for pride, for legacy, for survival. Lennox Lewis stepped out first. His eyes were locked in. He had been shaken, yes, but not broken. His jab snapped out like a piston. Pop, pop. This time sharper, meaner. He was regaining control. But Mercer wasn't slowing down. The American bulldozer took those jabs like slaps and walked straight through them. Then it happened. Mercer launched a brutal combination. Left hook, right hand, another left, bang, bang, bang. Lewis's head snapped back, but he fired right back with a vicious uppercut that lifted Mercer's chin sky high. The crowd screamed. Sweat flew in every direction. It was madness inside the ropes. Neither man blinked. Mercer landed a body shot that made the crowd groan. Lewis gritted his teeth, answered with a right cross that landed flush on Mercer's temple. Both men staggered for a moment, both bleeding, both breathing fire. The commentators couldn't believe it. This is unbelievable. They're trading bombs in the center of the ring. Each punch now carried the weight of pride. Lewis, the technical genius, started mixing power with precision. His footwork sharpened, his timing returned. A double jab followed by a crushing right hand. Mercer was rocked. For the first time, the American stumbled backward. Lewis smelled blood. He stepped in, unleashing a storm. Jab, right, hook, uppercut. Mercer's back hit the ropes. The crowd stood to their feet. They just stared. No words. Only respect and fury. The audience rose in thunderous applause. Everyone knew round 4 would decide everything. And deep inside, both men were ready to go to war one last time. The crowd was on its feet. Nobody sat. Nobody blinked. The arena vibrated with tension as the bell rang for round 4. Both men stood at center ring, faces battered, gloves heavy, hearts burning. Lennox Lewis raised his jab again, this time slower, but deadlier. He'd found his rhythm, but Mercer's eyes were wild, full of fire and defiance. He charged forward, swinging with everything left in his body. Boom! His right hand crashed into Lewis's guard, followed by a vicious left hook to the ribs. Lewis winced. The pain was real, but the champion's pride refused to break. He stepped back, adjusted his stance, and fired a jab that split the air. Then another, and another. Mercer's head snapped back with every shot, but he kept coming forward, roaring with every punch like a warrior from another era. Then it happened. Lewis saw an opening. He faked a jab high, dropped low, and landed a perfect uppercut. Mercer's knees buckled. The crowd exploded. "That's the shot," screamed the commentator. Lewis found the target, but Mercer refused to fall. He staggered, blinked through the blur, and smiled through the pain. Blood dripped from his mouth as he whispered, "You can't break me." Lewis, breathing heavy, stepped in again. Another jab, then a crushing right hand. Bang! Mercer's head snapped back violently. He stumbled into the ropes. The referee watched closely. The crowd was roaring for a stoppage, but Mercer waved him off. "I'm still here." But as Lewis raised his hand, he turned to Mercer and nodded, because that night, inside that brutal, beautiful ring, Both men had won something greater than a title.